With Gambit just around the corner in Forsaken, there'll be a set of weapons that fit into the meta of this game mode and this game mode alone, and the strongest contender for primary weaponry seems to be Coldheart so far. And no, that's not a bad joke. After running the numbers, Coldheart has the most burst damage per second out of any primary weapon in PvE by a considerable margin. So if you're here to be told what to use, then try giving Coldheart a go. You won't be disappointed. If you'd like a bit more convincing, however, or if you just want to take a look at the stats behind the weapon, then keep watching. During this comparison, I'll be referencing Coldheart as a primary weapon because it behaves like one, but it is important to note that Coldheart is a special weapon and therefore uses special ammo bricks, not primary ammo bricks. The reason I'm referring to it in this way is because trace rifles in general function in a very similar way to energy auto rifles in game, and up until the latest update they were actually classified as energy primaries and therefore received energy ammo. When it comes to ammo economy and its overall function in the game, Coldheart is more comparable to primary weapons than its special weapon counterparts, i.e. grenade launchers, fusion rifles, shotguns and sniper rifles. The numbers I'm about to report to you have been crunched by my friend and clanmate EXX Trooper. For those who don't know him, he was the guy behind a series of time to kill spreadsheets back in Destiny 1, and he's currently in the process of creating an in-depth stats sheets for PvE weapons, correct at the time of making this video. I will vouch for his reliability for reporting accurate numbers, but if that's not enough for you, then you're welcome to test the weapons yourself. They were all done on enemies found in the DS Quarters 2 Lost Sector on Titan, and all weapons were 385 light when tested. I do have to emphasise though that all DPS numbers that you're going to be seeing on screen are consistent in this Lost Sector environment alone, so depending on the activity you're doing, you may see slightly different numbers. So, most primaries in the game at the moment are hovering around the 2000 to 3000 burst damage per second mark against red bar enemies, assuming we're hitting 100% criticals of course. Coldheart, however, has a burst DPS of 5055 without its longest winter perk active. With its winter perk active, it ascends to a monstrous 9090 damage per second. For comparison, Redrick's Claymore with Desperado active has a DPS of 4700, Midnight Coup has a DPS of 3287, Origin Story has a DPS of 2670, and Niflheim Frost has a DPS of 1998, just to give you a rough idea of where other popular PvE weapons stack up. Coldheart will melt red bar enemies. I haven't been able to find a weapon that clears the spawns of enemies that drop motes faster in Gambit faster. Against orange and yellow bar enemies, it had an optimal burst damage per second of 3945 with longest winter active and 2190 without. And again, for comparison, Redrick's with Desperado will cap out at 2350 against orange and yellow bar enemies. So against red bar enemies that drop motes and blockers of all sizes, Coldheart is probably the single best choice of primary to use in PvE. It doesn't however beat the Ikelos Shotgun Whisper of the Worm combination for primeval DPS, but the beauty of Gambit is that it's not too difficult to quickly switch your loadout out on the fly, though it is the optimal choice of primary weapon to use against it if you're not the sort of player who likes to switch loadouts mid-activity. So, Coldheart is pretty firmly established in its functionality within a PvE environment, and you can just have a look at the footage being shown to you to see how effective it is at clearing ads and orange bar enemies alike. But Gambit does have a PvP element to it as well. So what if I told you that Coldheart is actually one of the top PvP weapons in the game now? Well, it might come as a surprise, but it actually is. It has an extremely competitive time to kill of 0.73 seconds and has a very forgiving requirement of only needing 9 crits out of those 12 shots needed to obtain that optimal time to kill. So why don't we see Coldheart in Crucible that much? Well, it's purely because of ammo economy. Coldheart has an absolutely pathetic amount of ammo when you spawn in. 33 shots to be exact, and you only pick up 5 shots per green ammo brick. So needless to say, its ammo economy is so bad that it renders the weapon functionally useless, since you'll likely run dry after your first 1v1 engagement, assuming you even make it through that. So that's why it's rarely seen in Crucible. However, in Gambit you will have Coldheart ammo coming out of your ass because it uses PvE ammo economies instead of the Crucible ones. So, you will have ample amount of ammo to engage in a team of Guardians when you invade, or when your team is invaded. It wouldn't be fair for me to not list some of the drawbacks that Coldheart has over other weapon selection though. There is some, though I do believe that the pros largely outweigh the cons. Coldheart is a special weapon, and even though you will receive far more ammo and overall add killing potential than you would with a sniper or a shotgun or a fusion or a grenade launcher, you will be receiving less ammo than a conventional primary weapon. As a result, you will likely run dry. You can't use it 100% of the time during Gambit without doing so. The other main drawback for me is that it takes up your exotic weapon choice. Sleeper Stimulant is a very strong choice in Gambit at the moment, because of its ability to one-hit kill all Guardians regardless of whether they're in Super or not across the map. It also does an amazing amount of DPS against bosses. There's definitely range limitations that the Coldheart has, that Sleeper does not. Also, Whisper of the Worm, Darcy, Ikelos Sniper Rifle, and the Ikelos Shotgun are also unable to be paired with Coldheart because they fill the same slots or they're exotics. All of those do significantly more boss damage than Coldheart could ever hope to do. So, in conclusion, it's too early to really tell whether Coldheart will be in the Gambit meta when Forsaken drops, as there'll be new weapons and random rolls coming through with it. Though with the game in its current form, Coldheart is definitely one of the strongest weapons that you should be coming into Gambit with. Thank you all for watching. Goodbye.